Okay, we're starting, and I'm Dr. Daniel Farb. I'm the CEO and founder of Flower Turbines. I'm very glad to have you here, and we're going to talk about many things about Flower Turbines. Just basically, we have the goal of being a major international renewable energy company. So I want to start just with some of the validation we've received. We're found by Pepperdine University Business School, be one of the most fundable uh, startups. Uh, the U.S. Department of Energy picked us as one of the top innovators. The Solar Impulse Foundation, based in Europe, picked us as one of the 1,000 best climate change solutions. Uh, most of our sales and operations have been in the EU for the last few years, and we have twice won the Dutch Sustainability Award. And here you can see the Dutch climate minister uh, visiting one of our installations in the Netherlands. We were winners of the Yes San Francisco Clean Tech competition, which was in association with the World Economic Forum. We have good connections as a result of that with the mayor. And also, I was just at one of the smaller meetings of the World Economic Forum in Switzerland just 2 weeks ago. We were also featured on CBS's Henry Ford Innovation Nation. We are helping to supply power to Coldplay, and we've won many nominations. I've spoken at the US Congress. Uh, so let's talk about small wind energy. You don't see so much of it, and that's because it hasn't lived up to its potential, because it hasn't solved, at least with other companies, several basic problems. One is to make low noise and efficiency go together. Usually turbines, when they're close together, they interfere with each other aerodynamically. The aesthetics are controversial and they're dangerous to birds. So we have solved all these problems and more. Uh, and one of the key ones is that the turbines make their neighbors perform better. We'll speak about that a little bit, but the birds love them and they start at low speeds and survive high speeds. What we've done in the last few years is we've assembled a product line, different sizes of turbines, and a different type. We also offer aluminum with much of the same aerodynamics, and we've branched into e-bike charging, which is very popular in Europe, and also special systems for installing on rooftops uh, using balance, friction, and weight to avoid drilling into a roof. So this is one for a flat roof. We're already selling these, and you'll see soon we have a design for slanted roofs. So our AL13, the aluminum version, has a number of innovative features. It's modular. We can stack these on top of each other. It also has low noise. It's better than our tulips for getting wind from any angle. It's recyclable. It can be made from recyclable aluminum. And of course, it's bird friendly and it's cost effective. Uh, and it's cheaper in all markets because it uses aluminum. By the way, that's important for Canada, which is a big producer of aluminum, that we should be able to make these at lower price there. Uh, if this is the way our slanted roof option works, we have the patent for it. We're going to start prototyping it very soon. So it'll combine wind and solar in a very roof-friendly way. And also, a new addition to our product line is we've started to produce some of the electronics. We're starting off with a simple brand of low power consumption charge controllers. A charge controller connects the generator to either a battery or an inverter. So these uh, operate with almost zero background consumption, whereas the competition from China either lacks a lot of the features or has a higher background consumption. So this is a nice step forward, and uh, it's going to be the foundation for some very sophisticated patents that we have in electronics. So far we've been doing sales and manufacturing in both the US and the EU. And one of our next target markets for manufacturing and sales is Canada. Uh, these are closer looks at our mobility charging. Um, this is in Rotterdam. I was just there recently talking with the city, which bought these, and we're looking at doing some more projects. This is solar only pole, uh, and we also can connect to the grid and have this available as part of the suite that we offer for encouraging the industry of e-biking, scooters, etc. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the technology. One of the technologies is that we have the blades and the shaft at just the right distance. So here is the wind coming in this direction. Red is highest velocity, blue is lowest. So it's coming at a yellow speed. It hits one of our two blades, and then it comes back through the middle, and you see it becomes red. It actually becomes faster than the outside wind speed, and that's because one of our patents has to do with the efficiency of relationships and ratios between the blades, the shaft, and how they're constructed. Now, something that is a major uh, area of importance is you see that there's red on either side. That's the basis for our cluster or bouquet effect, whereby we can put turbines close together next to each other, and they drive wind currents into each other, so they become much more efficient. And this is one of the major things that we believe is going to make us a global company. So all of this and much more is, of course, patented. And we have many areas of patents. We have the aerodynamics came first, then we have patents in installation and manufacturing, and our latest area of major patents is electronics. And this is also a game changer, just like our aerodynamics was. And we also have design patents and copyrights. We have an absolutely first-class portfolio of over 30 patents, and coming soon in electronic innovations is use of AI in wind speed prediction and faster turbine reaction, rescuing energy that's normally lost at low wind speeds, a number of other things that are really going to be game changers. So we have patents as a portfolio approach that make it possible for us to uh, block imitators at many different levels. So for example, they're trying to come close to our basic blade design in China, but they can't because we have patents on it. And they're only putting them as single installations because they know we also have a granted patent in China on the cluster effect. So this is something that protects your investment, and having strong patents are one of the best ways to protect your investment. So let's see how it works in practice. This is a power curve of our largest model, and it's a little faint, but this is 3 meters per second. This is 1 meter per second. Most turbines only start functioning at 3 meters per second. You see, we're already producing a fair amount of electricity at that, and we're actually producing small amounts below 1 meter per second. So that's very important. That's one of our major advantages. Now here are measurements on the cluster effect. You can see this is one turbine, two turbines, three, four. You see that at 4 turbines clustered properly, we're already producing double the amount of power of one individually. That means that 4 clustered turbines from us are like 8 separate ones that we've put in different locations. That's very powerful, and you see that the curve continues nicely through 5 and presumably much higher. So this is our major game changer, and by utilizing this cluster effect, it enables us to provide unique services to hopefully 11 million large buildings in North America that will give us a market just in large buildings of $850 billion. So we actually, I think, can do better than that, but that's the potential market of large buildings in windy areas throughout North America. And if you go to northern latitudes, you'll see that how we compare to solar, the cost effectiveness and return on investment is approximately the same. Maybe in a windy area we're a little bit better. But what's really higher, much, much higher, is the amount of energy produced per square meter of either ground space or roof space. These are some of the people in the company. I've had startup experience. I've won a number of awards. I set an academic record at Yale University. I have degrees in humanities, business, and science. I've generally around 80 patents. Our COO is a lawyer who's brought 4 startups to market, 1 to Microsoft. And Ika is our main engineer. He's a graduate of the Technion, and he's well known as a lecturer on how to use specialized software in complex shapes. So our main thing is to sell, and we have a margin, which is nice. And we can also sell the electricity in projects, and that's one of the things we want to move into now. And we can also get advertising money from it. And there are aspects of our electronics patents that I believe we can license to large wind turbine companies. So we have a lot of ways to make money. We've been very popular. We've already raised over $17 million. And our current raise is both worldwide based in the United States and separate fundraising in Canada. Okay, hope you can join us to change the world. And now I'd like to show you the Canada, specifically what we can do for Canada. I just want to make sure that just somebody answer. Are you seeing this okay on the? Are you seeing the Canada slides?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, you are. Okay, great. So I'm going to go through that now. So why it's a great market for us? It's got strong winds, low solar exposure, so there's less competition from solar, and it's an efficient renewable energy source. So the market is growing at 8.1% per year, even without our innovations. And that suggests that the market, even without our innovations increasing the size of the market, would be over 2,000 million by 2030. So I believe that we can seize this growth opportunity with the right partnerships. And I'll just mention that we're actually now in discussion with a multi-billion-dollar Canadian company for a joint venture for manufacturing and sales in Canada. So we believe that even 5 to 7% of the Canadian market will give us a huge opportunity. So the market drivers are, of course, our technology and government support. There's a lot of support for clean energy, and especially for remote communities and First Nations. A lot of remote communities are using expensive diesel fuel, and this can be a very good replacement for that diesel fuel. There are industrial and commercial sectors, and also small homeowners and businesses particularly in some of the Maritimes, there's very good wind, and it means greater independence. So we talked about our technology. I think these are all things that matter in the Canadian market. Um, and the Minister of Energy said that clean energy innovation projects will be a key driver of decarbonization and jobs in Canada. And here are some examples of support, multi-billion dollars available as loan guarantee programs, other types of programs. Uh, and the problem in the indigenous remote communities, as I mentioned, is the diesel. The diesel cost is usually around 40 to 50 cents per kilowatt hour. It's hard not to be able to make that better. So we provide a clean, cost-effective alternative, and there are around 300 communities like this with 200,000 people where what we do could really make a difference. And if we were to take just two of our power towers with 6 meters per second wind, which you find in this area, it would produce nearly 20,000 kilowatt hours annually with investment of 38,000, and that means an ROI of 25% per year or 4 years return on investment. And of course, it would get better with a bigger cluster. This is a case study of a home in Canada of how there are different options as to how we could power the homes with different amounts of energy, but it's very doable. And of course, we could make a small wind farm to power 20 to 30 houses at a time. And that would mean that if a group of rural homeowners got together and they invested each around $6,000, we would be able to power 29 houses with the energy production from that. So that's another way of accessing what we have to offer. So there are certain special commercial markets in Canada. There are 550 port facilities, 480,000 commercial buildings, 518 airports, which are very open and have lots of space for putting in our small wind farms, over 50,000 factories, 339 hospitals, which are also a good market, 38,000 government buildings, and 336 data centers, which are basically chewers of energy. And there is a lot of controversy about how they're taking electricity away from people in homes and businesses to feed it into the growth of data centers. And what we offer is one possible solution for the data centers. So that's one of our target industries. And there are currently 239 data centers operating in Canada, and we intend to approach them about placing mostly our power towers there. So here's a case study of a project we're currently making a proposal to and just recently sent an invoice to in the state of Washington. It would be over 2,000 turbines in total, both roof-based and on the ground. Here's a case study of how we could make a large warehouse perform cost effectively on wind. And I'm just going to go through it quickly. This is something that you can look at later with the slides, which will be part of the recording. So let's look at some of the places in Canada. Canada in general, red is highest wind, yellow is next highest. You see most of Canada is very windy. And that's the main thing, is the wind speed. And here are some of the specific areas that are very good: southern Alberta and Saskatchewan. And currently 30% of its energy is from renewables, and the electricity price is high, and we could help bring that down. Uh, Nova Scotia, fantastic area for wind, and there's industrial facilities around 1,000 and agricultural facilities. All of these are remote areas that would do very well with uh, energy. And of course, southwestern Ontario, it's near the Great Lakes, and Ontario's electricity rates are the highest in the country, among the highest in the country. So we can definitely help there. Southwestern Ontario has a very big food and beverage processing sector, a lot of industrial facilities and agricultural operations, all of which help provide a very large market size. So this is a list of the patents that we filed in Canada. As I mentioned, we're global. The number of patents we have include United States, Canada, China, Japan, Europe, Brazil, Australia, and so forth. So um, we file patents globally. Here are the aerodynamics and the cluster effect electronics patents um, we have. So that's the end of our show, and I'm now going to answer um, some questions. I'm starting with the questions that people asked when they registered. And first one is, I'm Toronto. Uh, are there any benefits, perks for those who join this webinar? You just get to find out about things, but no, there are no special discounts. Um, but if you invest, you are eligible for a discount on the turbines. I have a winter home in Bonaire. I'm not sure what that is. And is it possible to purchase and test some flower turbines with my solar system? It's sunny there all the time and also windy nearly 24 hours a day. So for sure it would work. The question is, does it work with your solar system? So there is one brand of solar inverter that we can plug into with wind, and that's Solarc. If you don't have Solarc, either if you have a battery, we would be able to connect into your battery system, or we would connect separately from the solar into your panel for your business or your home. So if you contact us afterwards with a question, you should be prepared to give information about your system. Does it have a battery or not? And does it allow you to uh, uh, plug in with other systems or not? Okay. Um, Looking at other questions, are these turbines available for sale now? Yes. And how much electricity does one turbine produce and size? So we have a chart, it's on our website, and our staff also have it for, it shows listings for all of our different turbines, the amount of electricity they produce, and also it has how much they will produce if they're one of three. In other words, if you get a cluster of three, how much would each one produce? A cluster of five and a cluster of 10. So that is available in several locations as a PDF file on our website. And how to invest if you're Canadian? The answer is that we have two sites. If you go to our landing page, and I think that we'll have our staff send everybody who signed up um, information on how to access our landing page for you to invest. It'll give you instructions as to how to do that. And now I'm going to look at our chat. Um, does the bouquet effect happen when they are stacked? So the stacking is different. In other words, you can stack up to 8 modules of the power tower up this way, but then the bouquet effect is when you place them close to each other like this, side by side. So they're two different things. Um, I hope that's clear. As a Canadian, if we import from the US, did the tariffs war affect the prices? So It probably will. I imagine they're going to resolve this very soon. But in the meantime, we are looking into producing in Canada. And also, one of your options, if you want to buy from us, is that we produce in Europe. So we can avoid the issue completely by importing from Europe. So if you're interested in that alternative, um, uh, given some of the bad feelings that I've been reading about lately, we can do that until we have our Canadian manufacturing set up. So just let us know that you're interested in that option. Will it survive in negative 30 degrees? As far as we know, yes. We do have a video on our site about them operating in the snow in the Netherlands. Uh, but there are some pretty severe weather conditions in Canada. If there are, you should tell us where you're going to put them. And there are certain things we could do, like insulation of the base. The main thing is we want it to keep rotating, and the turbines do generate heat from the rotation. That's a normal part of just the thermodynamics of motion. So that would help keep them heated. But let us know if there's a special situation when you call us or email us to see about how it can be done. How does it work in heavy snow in the winter? Um, it's as long as it keeps moving, it's going to be okay. And as long as the snow doesn't block the wind, it usually doesn't get that high. Competitive advantage intellectual property. Could you explain how the patented cluster effect provides Flower Turbines with a sustainable competitive advantage? So, uh, yes, it does, because the patents prevent anybody, even with a similar kind of turbine, because the patent is written very broadly, from putting these together in a way that helps them produce more power. So this is one of our very big things, and uh, because the effect of the cluster effect means you can put more and more turbines together. It makes it more and more cost efficient the more you put them together. So that's a very big competitive advantage. And I want to mention that there's a chance that we also have a competitive advantage against the very big wind turbines, because the very big wind turbines um, may be a little bit less pricey if you consider them versus ours, but they have a big maintenance problem and they use a tremendous amount of space. In other words, you have to separate one turbine from another by maybe a few hundred meters. So there's a lot of empty space. We can make much better use of space, and space, of course, is worthwhile. It's real estate in a resort area, and it's real estate for crops and grazing and whatever else the farmland is being used for. So that is one thing, and we need more the funding to do it, but we actually have a real estate owner with about 1,000 acres who is interested in us making a project instead of the large wind turbines. And when you consider also that we're bird friendly, which the large ones aren't, um, there's really a lot that we have to offer, um, even for large projects. And that is one of my ambitions, to make utility scale small wind. And that will be really a I would say, a business breakthrough for us once we've proven that. Also, what steps are you taking to safeguard this intellectual property from imitation? Well, the best thing is to get a granted patent, uh, and then we need more money to be able, of course, to attack those who are copying. And the fast-paced technological changes within the renewable energy sector, we are part of those fast-paced um, changes. I mean, the once we start getting into our electronics, we're going to be able to control the turbines better, get greater efficiency, and we are planning to use AI as part of this process. So we're in the game. We just need really more funds and more customers to be able to execute it. Um, says, given you have licenses to operate in New York, Texas, and New Jersey, what are your strategic plans for ramping up production and making a mark in these areas and in Canada specifically? So we have uh, officers in New York and New Jersey, which is why we had to register there. In Texas, we have a factory. As I said, we are right now negotiating uh, some factory space with a major company in Ontario. And part of the plan is to involve some of the First Nations in this. So it's not there yet, but we're working on it right now. How do you handle the competitive pressures of established wind turbine companies and new startups? So um, there are really no really prominent small wind turbine companies that are more established than we are and dominating the market. I mean, we want to dominate the market. We think we have the technology to and the vision to dominate the market, but no one is right now because the others haven't solved the problems that we have, and we just need to grow more. So I'm not worried about competition in that sense. I think our main competition comes from the low price of solar. And again, our way of answering that is through working windy areas and through the cluster effect, which is something obviously one solar panel doesn't make the next one perform better. What major risks do you anticipate from the competitive landscape? I think if people start going back to nuclear, that could be a risk. But you see, there's still, even if a utility is producing energy very cheaply, we can still compete because we can put in turbines at the point of use. And let me explain that, because this is a very important point. The very large wind turbines can produce energy at 3 cents per kilowatt hour, which is great. But by the time it reaches you, the consumer, the business, whatever, the price can be anywhere from 10 to 25 cents per kilowatt hour. By placing our turbines at the point that they're being used, we're competing not with the 3 cents, we're competing with the 10 to 25. So that's a very important point. Okay, let me move on. What is the lifespan of the turbines? We build them to last 20 to 40 years. They are well built, and we use good materials, and where needed, we also coat them with anti-corrosion materials. Okay, I'm from Saskatchewan, and it's too cold and windy with negative 30 degrees for half the year. And thank you for answering all my questions. Um, we'd be very glad to do a project there. And if for some reason they don't hold up, we'd make a deal with you that we'd refund your money. So please contact us because we'd definitely like to get projects there. But I think we can handle the negative 30 degrees by insulation. To invest in Flower Turbines, please click on the link provided to our landing page. Oh, somebody did this for me. Oh, that's Kat. That's our staff. So you'll see in the chat what you can click on in order to get to our landing page. And someone said, I already did. Great, I appreciate that. And Kat has a message in the chat. If you'd like to purchase, like any additional information, please email our support team at support.us@flowerturbines.com. Thank you for your sincere responses to my queries. You're welcome. What maintenance do the turbines require? So for the ones that are 2 meters and higher, the bearings require oil replacement depending upon how windy your area is every 1 to 3 years. So that's a simple thing to do. They have little nipples that you insert the the grease gun into, and it comes out the other side. You collect it and dispose of it. So that's really uh, all that's likely to happen. You should inspect it to make sure there's no corrosion of any of the parts. Scratches can lead to corrosion. But in general, these are made to last for a long time and require minimal maintenance. One of our first ones had zero maintenance for 10 years. So um, there we are. So now, please, if you have questions, make it interactive. I'd be very glad if you just unmute yourselves and speak up. Okay.
Hello, I'm interested in the picture that you put up of the windiest places. Clearly, it's by the ocean. So the ocean air is like salty. Like, have you noticed any of the salt being a problem?
So if you saw some of the pictures, or photos that we have, some of those photos are from our installations in the Netherlands. And you know that the Netherlands is basically part of the North Sea. So I was actually there at one of those installations 2 weeks ago, and the turbines were holding up just fine. So that's our experience in the Netherlands. Um, Again, if if you start getting scratches, that's something you have to watch for. But um, as long as they're installed without scratches, uh, it could last for a very, very long time. Okay, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome. Okay, so it sounds like we've answered all the questions. I am going to uh, stop the